You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Saturday the 5th of July 2025 and you're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And I didn't do any writing today. I did plan to, but I had a much nicer day. I knew I had plans for today. And my original idea was to do a bit of writing this morning. However, as the way things are, I slept. It's not that I slept badly last night, particularly. I just didn't sleep for long enough. So since coming back from Singapore, I've been waking up and getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning, which is absolutely fine because I've been going to bed correspondingly early, so I still get a decent night's sleep. However, last night I kind of wittered and I didn't go to bed. It was nearly midnight before I went to bed, I think. It didn't help that I watched a bit of the tennis, and I'm not a huge tennis fan, but I really got quite caught up in the, was it Emma Raducanu match, where she played that. I can't remember who the other person was, but she was knocked out, but then she was unseeded up against the number one seed. Was it Sabalenka or something like that? And I thought she played absolutely superbly. I mean, I'm not enough to win, obviously, but you could see that her opponent was kind of getting pissed off that she wasn't easier to beat. And I think, you know, for someone who wasn't seeded in the tournament to do quite well, because although she did lose both sets, you know, they were both quite close. I think the first one was 6-7 with a tiebreak. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but there wasn't a big gulf between her and the other girl. And it would have been lovely to see her Raducanu through to the next round, but you know, and I kept thinking, no, I can't watch this. I've got other things to do, so I'd turn it over and do something else. And then it was like, oh, I want to know what's happening though. So I kept turning back. Anyway, that was last night, and I went to bed gone midnight. But my body still woke me up at about 5 o'clock. Excuse me. And it was like, oh. So I was tired, but not tired. So I thought, well, I'll be okay, you know. So I've slept well the previous night. I've got hiccups now. Great for a podcast. And I just thought, oh, I'll be all right. I'll get up and do my normal thing. And I got up and then realised I was really tired still. So I went back to bed but couldn't sleep, and then ended up getting back up getting up again at 9:30. And the thing I had to do today was my godson was playing in, I think it's called Rock School. I can't remember what they said it was called. Well, basically he was playing as part of a band today in his hometown, so I was invited to go and watch him play, and I kind of managed to mess up the timings a little bit because the route I would normally takes me very close to Silverstone. It literally takes me past it, and of course today was the British Grand Prix, so I couldn't drive my normal route. And so I had to, there's a route I use that's basically in a straight line. And obviously, you know, if you go on main roads, they're not always in a straight line. So you have to go out to come back in. Anyway, I got there in time and I went to the Rock School and watched the performance. And it was very good. My godson actually did, you know, the beginning bit of Sweet Child of Mine, the kind of solo bit that's quite complicated. That sounded nothing like it. But he played that bit in the song and it was note perfect. It was very good. So yeah, it was really impressive. It's made me think. So I don't play the guitar or the piano, but I would love to be able to play the piano. I would love to be able to play keyboards. And it's made me think, well, actually, as my godson's dad said to me, there's only one thing stopping you. And he's right, it's me. So I'm toying with the idea of maybe getting some piano keyboard lessons at some point. I'm going to need to buy, I don't want a piano, but I might try and, you know, get a nice keyboard type thing. We shall see. It's something for me to think about. But yeah, it'd be really lovely to actually, you know, with the songs I record, instead of having to program the stuff in note for note, to be able to actually play it in, because I'm good enough to do that. That'd be really cool. But no, so my godson, very impressed. He did a really, really good job. And I went back with them afterwards. We played some board games, which is a bit of a feature when I go to visit them. It's always good fun. Yeah, and but I kind of I was flagging. I was quite tired, and I got back home and I've tried to watch. So that episode of Doc Martin that I only had the Region 4 Australian version of, that arrived in the post earlier today, and I've started watching that this evening. But it's a 90-minute special episode, and it's I'm too tired really to take it all in. But I need to try and stay awake a little bit longer, otherwise I'll be waking up stupidly early tomorrow morning, potentially. I have done a little bit of work, so I did read through chapter 41, and all I will say is, whereas, was it chapter 41? No, chapter 42. Yeah, I read through chapter 42. 41, I signed off yesterday, not on purpose. It's just when I read through it, I realised it needed very little work, so I was able to sign it off quite quickly. I've read through chapter 42, and yeah, it needs quite a lot of work. So, for example, there is a conversation that Marianne has with like a comatose Mackenzie that almost completely forgets the fact that she had a conversation with him, albeit he was inhabiting somebody else's body. That it's almost like I forgot that conversation takes place, and it's almost like their relationship has gone backwards, and that makes absolutely no sense. So I must have kind of forgotten the detail of what I wrote a few chapters before when I wrote chapter 42. So that's going to need probably... I don't think there's an equivalent conversation that can take place. So I think that'll have to be cut. But then that's fine, it doesn't... The book's long enough as it is, so if I end up cutting a couple of thousand words, that's no big deal. And will that leave that chapter short? It'll leave it shorter, but it won't still leave it too short. But anyway, there was, I was even saying, I might even get it signed off today. I'm not going to. And I might not even get it signed off tomorrow because there's quite a bit of work I need to do on chapter 42. But that's fine, it's we are nearly there. It's not going to be a long time before I sign it off. But yeah, I do need to... It needs a bit of work. From memory, although I haven't read it yet, 43 is pretty good. So 42 is the last probably major bit of editing I need to do. Anyway, hopefully I'll do some of that tomorrow. I will talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.